Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a whirlwind of a week. We've had Call of Duty Next, we've had the Modern Warfare 2 beta, and now I wanted to take a minute just to breathe a little bit and give you my opinions on Modern Warfare 2 so far. And to try to answer the question, which is what a beta is meant for, should you buy Modern Warfare 2? It's a very simple question, and we're going to cut straight to the point. There are a lot of problems with Modern Warfare 2. There's things that I don't like about the design decisions, and I will go over all of that within this video. But the simple question is, should you buy this game? Is it worth playing? Is it worth your money? And is it worth your time? That's what I wanted to address right away in this video, and then break down my thoughts and opinions on some definite things that need to change in this game. So without further ado, let's answer that question. Should you buy Modern Warfare 2? I'm just going to answer for myself right away. My answer is yes, this is definitely a Call of Duty game you're going to want to try, you're going to want to get your hands on, for the simplistic reason that it's actually different. It's not your normal Call of Duty game. A lot has changed with weapon progression, how weapons work, how perks work, and everything like that. And if you're a Call of Duty fan, this is not a game you're going to want to sleep on. There are problems with it, and we will talk about them, but my opinion shouldn't really matter. So yesterday on Twitter, I put out a poll asking you guys what you thought, and overwhelmingly, this is not what I thought was going to come out of this, but overwhelmingly, this is what people had to say. Their thoughts on Modern Warfare 2 so far: 63.3% said it's a big W, only 6.9% of people said big L, and almost 30% of people said meh, I'll play it. That is an overwhelmingly positive response for early Call of Duty gameplay. Normally, I would not expect to see this, but that is great to see, and that shows you people are indeed enjoying the beta. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is one of the newest features, and I think one of the best features within Modern Warfare 2. One thing that I think will either keep people playing or deter them from playing whatsoever, and that is the way that weapons work. So if we go and check out our M4, we select our M4 and then go to progression, we can see this progression tree for the M4 weapon system. When we take a closer look at this, we see that the way to unlock weapons is, first of all, to level this weapon up to rank 13, where you will unlock the receiver for the FTAC Recon, and then you level this weapon all the way up to rank 16, and then you unlock the base weapon for the FSS Hurricane. Similarly, if you go back to the M4 and go all the way up to rank 18, you unlock another receiver, which will give you the Icarus, so on and so forth, and that should be the way that weapons are unlocked. But as you can see, that is not working properly, because my FTAC Recon is not leveled up to rank 16, yet I've been using the FSS Hurricane and have it all the way leveled up. So clearly there is a problem with those progression trees, and on top of that, if we actually go and check out the menus and go to progression, some of the weapons are currently unlocked via level, like the Sakin, and then you can't even level up that weapon whatsoever. Now, one thing that's really cool about these progression trees is as you rank up these individual weapons, so once again, having a look at this, the M4 has 19 levels. All of these attachments that you unlock on this M4 progression tree you were able to use on all of these other weapons. So instead of having to go through an individual weapon for 50 to 70 levels, you only have to do 19 levels, and then all of these attachments are available on all of these different weapons, which means way less grinding, and not to mention the amount of grinding is very, very low. Let me explain. So what I have found is using an individual weapon for 1 to 2 games will fully level up that weapon, and you'll have all of the attachments unlocked. What this means is if there's, let's go high and say 50 weapons in the game, which is not going to happen, it'll only take you about 100 games to fully level up all of your weapons, which is incredibly low, incredibly fast, and good. However, a lot of people play Call of Duty for the grind. They want to level things up, and they want to complete challenges, unlock things, and become better because of it. It's almost like an MMO meets first-person shooter for many, many reasons. So my worry with this isn't that it's not going to be grindy enough. Now, we don't know if there's going to be more attachments, if the weapon leveling will take longer once the game fully releases. We don't know. However, I don't mind this weapon leveling system and it being incredibly fast. However, what they also need to do is put something into the game to grind for, whether that be weapon camos, other challenges, or other things altogether. There needs to be that grind factor that people want to keep coming back and playing more and more for. I'm worried that if the weapon leveling levels this fast, people won't want to play the game for very long. But maybe they're trying to push people more towards DMZ and Warzone and make multiplayer kind of a second thought and just a super fast way to level weapons and unlock things in the game. I don't know that, and I also don't know what the player progression will actually be, if we're going back to the classic prestige system, or if we are going with the seasonal mode that we have seen in the previous years. But I still want that grind factor, just not the same sort of take 10 hours to level a weapon like we had in Vanguard. So in my books, this is a big plus. I just want to see it completed, see the other progression trees, see how unlocking weapons will fully work upon launch of the game. But in my eyes, this is a big plus and one of the good big changes to the game. Another change that I like is the perks. I like how you level up through the game, how you unlock them as you go. I like that that's different. I know some people don't like that system, but to me, it's a good change up in Call of Duty, and I'm curious to see how that works moving forward. However, I don't think the perk system is perfect, because there's some perks that are in there and some that aren't that I definitely would like to see. Now, obviously, the big one that I want to see changed is the minimap. The minimap makes zero sense to me whatsoever in conjunction with footsteps. And what I mean by that is when you shoot a weapon that is not silenced, you do not show up on the map, similar to what they did with Modern Warfare 2019. People hated that then, they hate it now, and I don't understand the thought process of that, especially with the way that footsteps are. Footsteps are very loud. Sometimes they're hard to hear on certain surfaces, but in general, they are very loud, and dead silence isn't a perk, it is a field upgrade, which means you can only use it for a limited amount of time. Now, this is again what we saw in Modern Warfare 2019. Now, the problem with not having red dots on the minimap is it simply slows down the game. It allows people to camp in individual spots, not show up on the minimap, and deter people from rushing specific spots on the map. Yes, it makes UAVs more valuable, but I have a pretty good guess that most of these people who are playing like that are probably going to be running Ghost anyway, so there's no point in running UAVs halfway through a game anyway. Now, as far as this goes, like I said, it slows down the gameplay. But on top of this, with footsteps being very loud, it allows people who are camping to have a very, very high advantage, because they can just hear you coming if you're rushing around the map, and there's no dead silence aside from the field upgrade that currently isn't in the game to actually take it into effect that'll stop that from actually happening. So again, promoting camping. Now, to me, the bigger deal is the minimap and not dead silence. To me, you can change the footstep audio in game, but without the minimap working properly, it's just null and void. I think that is the number one thing that needs to be changed before the full launch of the game. And a lot of people are saying that Infinity Ward won't do that. They don't listen. But remember back to the original, I believe it was either alpha or beta for Modern Warfare 2019. They didn't even have a minimap in that game, and they put it in because people were like, what the hell is this? So my request for Infinity Ward, put red dots on the minimap when people fire unsilenced weapons. If they want to camp, they don't want to show up, let them use silencers. That's my opinion. You can let me know what you think down in the comments. The next big thing that I think is a big problem is the time to kill. Now, this one's a little bit more tricky to fix because I don't think the time to kill is awful. It's a little bit fast, but the problem I think is with headshot multipliers. The headshot multipliers are really high and there's a lot of flinch. So sometimes people just get random headshots and kill you in 2 bullets and you don't even have a chance even though you shot them first. That's a big problem, and I think the way to fix it is just extend that time to kill a little bit, maybe decrease the value of headshots just a little bit. I still want them to be higher to reward those higher tier players who can hit headshots consistently, but at the same time, I don't want lucky players to just kind of flinch up, hit headshots, melt you, and you be absolutely screwed. There's also a problem with the way that weapons are designed in this game, because weapons like battle rifles and LMGs have very, very slow mobility, aim down sights time, and sprint out time, which means right now SMGs and assault rifles are king because the time to kill is so fast, and it's so much more important to be able to aim down sights, get on target properly, get a couple bullets on target, and melt someone. And if you're using those weapons that take a long time to aim down sights, you have a big problem. Now, it's possible that these are currently balanced for Warzone and DMZ and things like that, and that is why those things have those slower mobility properties. And yeah, that might work in Warzone where those longer shot weapons need to have a slower aim down sights time, but in multiplayer, I think it's just going to make everyone use SMGs and assault rifles. At least that's what I have seen so far. On top of that, I don't think there's enough variance between weapons. It feels like every weapon I'm using the M4, or every SMG I'm just using an SMG. Yes, I think the weapons feel good and the weapon play feels good. I just think there needs to be a little bit more diversity between weapon to weapon, and maybe once there is more weapons and that progression tree is working properly, it'll feel like that. But as of right now, it just feels like an M4 player's dream because everyone's using the M4 or everyone's using an SMG, because those are just the top tier weapons right now. I hear a lot of people talking about slide canceling and how that has been removed, and to me, that's not a big problem whatsoever. What is more so the problem is right now sliding is useless. It actually slows you down instead of speeds you up. There's no point of using sliding. You might as well dolphin dive or something like that. I think the sliding needs to be tweaked. I'm fine with slide canceling not being there. In fact, I kind of enjoy it. It's a differentiation between other Call of Duty games, but I think the sliding definitely needs to be sped up a little bit so that it's actually a useful technique, but isn't a staple. Right now, bunny hopping is the staple, so if you see people hippity hopping all over the map, that is why. As far as some other things that are just current problems, first of all, stuns last way too long and disable you completely. I get that if you use something like Battle Hardened, you might not have that case, but still, stuns I think take way too long to go away, just my opinion. Spawns are pretty bad, but we haven't really ever had a beta where spawns were good, so I'm not really surprised there. They'll make them better after this, I have no question about that. And finally, the user interface. So the user interface, in my opinion, is very bad right now. I think it looks good, and I think it has potential, but one, with the progression trees not working properly, two, there being bugs in the menus, it taking you back to the main menu all the time. There's definitely problems there. Once they're fixed, I think the UI might be okay, but it needs to be more simplistic and it needs to work better. And I'm hoping once all of the weapons are in the game and everything's working properly, it'll feel much, much better. But you can let me know what you think of the UI and all of that down in the comments. These are my thoughts as of right now. As far as to answer the question, should you buy Modern Warfare 2? I think this is an easy answer. It's a definite yes. It feels really good. It plays really well. I've enjoyed playing it. There's just a few things and few tweaks that I think could take this game from a 7 out of a 10 to a 9 out of a 10 easily and be one of the better Call of Duties that's ever been released. Once again, it'll depend on what they do with progression once the game comes out, player progression, challenges, things like that, and of course, how it's incorporated with DMZ and Warzone once that comes out on November the 16th. So those are my thoughts for now. Yes, you should buy the game. That is my opinion, but I want to hear what you think down in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, always appreciate it if you hit that like button, subscribe to stay up to date on everything Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, everything like that. We got plenty more videos coming, so make sure you're subscribed and have notifications on. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace out.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too